The FBI is investigating a deadly shooting at a bar in Austin, Texas over the weekend as a possible terrorist attack. 2 people were killed there. 14 others were wounded. Police shot and killed the gunman, who used both a pistol and a rifle in the Sunday morning attack. He was spotted wearing a sweatshirt reading, quote-unquote, property of Allah, and a shirt featuring the flag emblem of the Islamic Republic of Iran. Also, a Quran was also found in his vehicle. Joining me now is the governor of Texas, Greg Abbott. Governor, thank you so much for being here. You're worried about the threat of sleeper cells activated here at home. How worried should we be following Operation Epic Fury? Give us your insights this morning, sir.
So, Maria, it has to be taken seriously, and that's exactly why early that morning on Saturday morning, we made clear to the public that the state of Texas is taking seriously about the possibility of terrorist activity, lone wolf activity, exactly what happened here in Austin, Texas. And you oftentimes see when there's a war breaking out like this, where the United States may be going against a country like Iran, that you could have either sleeper cells or lone wolves acting. And that's exactly why we increased the number of Texas Department of Public Safety officers to be patrolling the streets and patrolling sensitive areas, and why I deployed the Texas National Guard to do the same thing so that we could be as prepared as possible for things like this happening. Obviously, you've seen, and Fox has reported, how this guy acted the way you pointed out, wearing an Allah T-shirt, a T-shirt representing sympathies with Iran, as well as the Quran. And there are other details that will be coming out about the shooter and his connections to terrorism that will make clear this was a lone wolf activity where this shooter intended to wreak havoc here in Texas, here in the United States, because of his ties and sympathies with Iran. It calls into question a lot of people like that who are here in the United States, who came from other countries, that the United States has to do a far better job in trying to vet and evaluate and ongoingly evaluate those who've come to our country who could pose a danger.
Well, that's right. And for years, you single-handedly protected the border. You and, of course, once President Trump got back in office, he was the game changer. But throughout the Biden years, it was you protecting the border from illegals coming in, the Biden administration creating worries because we don't know who came in. From February 2021 to November 2024, more than 1,700 Iranian nationals crossed the southern border, Governor, and that could be a naive low number. What is your assessment of, you know, who's coming in and who came in during those years and what kind of threat they represent today?
Well, listen, the Trump administration and others have done a very good job of doing their best to try to document all of these people who have been crossing the border. There were known terrorists that Joe Biden led into the country. There were known murderers, rapists, and other criminals that Joe Biden allowed into the country. And when they got into the country, they were allowed to disperse across the entire United States of America. One struggle that the President Trump is dealing with is trying to locate all of these very dangerous people that were admitted by Joe Biden and make sure we get to them before they harm anybody else. And that's exactly what's taking place right now. In Texas, we have 4 Joint Terrorism Task Force. We have 8 fusion centers, all of which are working around the clock as we speak right now, looking for any type of dangerous terrorist activity that could be arising in the state of Texas. We need to see the same thing taking place across the United States of America, because we know that dangerous people like that exists in our states, and we need a collaborative, broad sweeping effort by local, state, and federal officials to root out all these terrorists that were allowed in by Joe Biden and make sure we get them, arrest them, and deport them.
Yeah, and let me just point out that when President Trump, in his first term, told us the facts that they were letting in murderers, rapists, etc., he was mocked by the left, mocked by the establishment. Everything he said was correct. And now we are all, unfortunately, feeling the brunt of it. Just last week, you announced an order increasing Department of Public Safety agents along the southern border, as you just said, over this threat of new cartel violence in Mexico. Growing threats of retaliation from Iran as well. Tell us about the Mexico situation, because we know that the Mexican cartels have been running Mexico, or we believe so. Your thoughts?
So listen, what's going on the Texas border as well as the entire U.S. border with Mexico would be a fluid situation. The deal is we know what happened with this cartel and their reaction and what they tried to do. And when activities like that occur, we know there could be spillover violence here into the state of Texas. One of the locations where there was cartel violence was Reynosa, which is just right across the river from Brownsville, Texas. And there are other locations right along the border where spillover activity could occur either in person or by drone. And so we are escalating our efforts to make sure that we're doing everything we can to secure the border. But, Maria, here's the deal. You should expect that this cartel violence that occurred a week ago is not going to be the last of it. President Trump has been very clear. He wants to see the elimination of the heads of all these different cartels. And it seemed like Mexico is working collaboratively to remove those cartel heads. Whenever things like that happen, you see the mayhem that we saw this last week. And so Texas is going to remain vigilant, securing every corner of our border from any type of cartel spillover activity.
Yeah, and meanwhile, the Democrats are looking at this as an opportunity to pounce, hoping that something in this middle of chaos or the fog of war gets people confused about what's going on and votes Democrat. Thousands of Texans will be heading to the polls tomorrow for the crucial Senate primary election. Lots of spending there. Give us your